The massive doors of the Galactic Council chamber opened with a deep rumble. Ambassador Park Min-jun walked through them with steady steps. His black diplomatic uniform looked simple next to the bright robes and strange armor of the alien delegates around him. Behind him walked 3 other humans, all trying to look calm despite the huge room filled with creatures from across the galaxy. The chamber was bigger than any building on Earth. 12 seats arranged in a circle, each one designed for a different alien species. Some seats floated in the air. Others were filled with strange liquids. The Hegemony Empire controlled most of these seats, and their representatives wore golden armor that gleamed under the bright lights. Park Min-jun reached the center of the room where a small platform waited for him. Above his head, holographic displays showed images of Earth, blue oceans, green continents, and the small space stations that orbited the planet. To the aliens in the room, these stations looked like toys compared to their massive star destroyers and planet-sized battleships. Admiral Vexthul of the Hegemony stood up from his floating throne. His reptilian face showed sharp teeth when he smiled. "So, this is the famous Earth delegation," he said in a voice that echoed through the chamber. "We have heard about your little planet and its amusing attempts to join civilized space." The other council members began to whisper and laugh. The Zephyrians, who looked like tall birds made of crystal, made clicking sounds that served as their laughter. The Brutani, massive creatures covered in thick armor, stamped their feet on the ground to show their amusement. Park Min-jun bowed politely. "Honored council members, Earth requests membership in the Galactic Council. We offer our friendship, our resources, and our commitment to peace among all species." This statement caused even more laughter. A Zephyrian delegate stood up, her crystal body reflecting the chamber lights. "Peace?" she asked, in a voice like breaking glass. "What can a species that still uses chemical rockets teach us about peace? Your ships move so slowly that our cargo vessels could outrun your fastest warships." Admiral Vexthul activated a holographic display that showed human spacecraft next to hegemony vessels. The human ships looked like tiny insects next to the massive alien warships. "Look at these primitive metal boxes," he announced. "They burn fossil fuels to push themselves through space. Meanwhile, we have mastered hyperspace, quantum tunneling, and dimensional folding. What could Earth possibly offer us?" Park Min-jun remained calm, his hands clasped behind his back. "We offer our perspective, our creativity, and our desire to learn from the great civilizations gathered here today." "Creativity?" laughed a Brutani general. "You have not even developed proper energy shields. Your weapons are still based on explosive projectiles. We have plasma cannons that can destroy moons." The Emperor of the Hegemony, a being so ancient that his species had forgotten his real name, leaned forward in his massive throne. His voice was like the grinding of stone when he spoke. "Earth delegation, your request is denied. This council is for advanced civilizations, not for cosmic children playing with toys they do not understand." Furthermore, Admiral Vexthul added, "Earth will not be granted access to our trade routes. Your ships are too slow, and your technology too dangerous. We cannot risk having primitive vessels disrupting established shipping lanes." "But surely," Park Min-jun said carefully, "Earth could contribute something to this great alliance. We have studied the stars for centuries. We have learned to work together as one species, despite our differences." The Zephyrian delegate made a sound like shattering ice. "One species? You cannot even unite your own planet properly. We have reports of wars and conflicts covering your entire history. And you speak of working together? That is exactly our point," Park Min-jun replied. "We have learned from our mistakes. We have grown beyond our past conflicts." Emperor Dracon rose from his throne, his ancient form casting a shadow over the entire chamber. "Enough. This council has heard Earth's petition and finds it lacking. Your species shows no remarkable capabilities, no advanced technology, and no qualities that would benefit this alliance. Your planet will remain under observation," Admiral Vexthul announced. "Perhaps in a few thousand years, When you have developed proper faster-than-light travel and energy weapons, you may petition again. The council members began to turn away, clearly considering the meeting finished. Some were already activating communication devices to discuss more important matters. Park Min-jun bowed once more. The Earth delegation thanks the Council for their time and consideration. We hope that future interactions between our species will be more fruitful. As the humans walked back toward the chamber doors, the alien delegates continued their conversations and laughter. Comments followed them across the room. Did you see their little ships in the display? Chemical rockets in the age of hyperspace. At least they are polite for primitives. Give them credit for trying. The massive doors closed behind the human delegation with the same deep rumble. Once they were in the corridor outside, the three other humans finally let their shoulders slump. That went as expected, said Dr. Lee So-young, the delegation's science advisor. They have no idea what we are really capable of, whispered Captain Kim Jae-ho, the military representative. Park Min-jun raised his hand for silence. The corridor might have listening devices. Instead, he reached into his diplomatic case and pulled out a small device that looked like an ordinary data pad. He pressed a sequence of buttons that activated a hidden communication system. The device sent a coded quantum burst transmission across space, faster than any known method of communication. The message traveled instantly to Earth through methods the Galactic Council had never imagined. The message was simple. Mockery confirmed. Underestimation complete. Proceed to next phase. On Earth, in hidden facilities buried deep underground, that message reached Dr. Lee So-young's counterpart. The real doctor. Lee So-young, who had been working for 20 years on humanity's greatest secret. The quantum displacement project was ready for final testing. Park Min-jun put the device away and looked at his companions. Let us return to Earth, he said quietly. We have work to do. 1. As their small transport ship left the Galactic Council station, none of the alien species paid attention to its departure. They were too busy laughing about the primitive humans and their pathetic request for membership. They had no idea that everything was about to change. 3 months had passed since the humiliation at the Galactic Council. In the hidden laboratories beneath the mountains of Earth, Dr. Lee So-young stood before a massive screen showing quantum equations that would have confused the greatest alien scientists. The field generators are stable, reported her assistant, checking the readings on dozens of monitoring devices. Quantum resonance is holding at 97% efficiency. Dr. Lee So-young nodded and made notes on her tablet. She had spent 20 years developing this technology, working in secret while the world above showed only conventional space travel to any watching alien observers. The quantum displacement project represented humanity's greatest scientific achievement, and no other species in the galaxy knew it existed. The inspiration had come from human theories about the nature of space and time. While aliens built bigger engines and more powerful weapons, humans had taken a different path. They had learned to fold space itself, to step from one location to another without crossing the distance between. Dr. Lee, called a voice from across the laboratory. Captain Kim Jae-ho is requesting final authorization for the prototype tests. In another hidden facility, Captain Kim Jae-ho stood on the bridge of the Earth ship Prometheus. The vessel looked ordinary from the outside, but its interior contained technology that would revolutionize space travel. Banks of quantum computers calculated the precise mathematical formulas needed to tear holes in space-time itself. All systems show green, reported his navigator, Lieutenant Park Seo-jun. The displacement drive is ready for activation on your command. Captain Kim checked the readings himself. The quantum field generators hummed with barely contained energy. One mistake could tear the ship apart at the molecular level, but the calculations had been checked thousands of times. Meanwhile, in the war rooms of the Hegemony Empire, Admiral Vexisthul studied star charts, showing the region around Earth's solar system. His scaled fingers traced lines between star systems as he planned his next move. The expansion continues as scheduled, he told his officers. The Kalari system fell yesterday. The Tellan colonies surrendered, without fighting when they saw our fleet approaching. A younger officer raised his hand. What about the humans, Admiral? Should we consider them a threat? Vex Thul's reptilian face showed his amusement. The humans? They are barely capable of reaching their own moon reliably. Our intelligence reports show they are building conventional warships with primitive weapons. They pose no threat to our expansion. The Admiral activated a holographic display showing recent intelligence gathered about Earth's space activities. Human ships moved slowly between planets, using chemical rockets and basic fusion drives. Their largest warships carried kinetic weapons and simple energy cannons. Look at these pathetic vessels, Vex Thul continued. Their fastest ships would take years to reach the nearest star. By the time they could respond to any threat, our forces would have completed their objectives and moved on. Emperor Dracon's voice came through the communication system, ancient and terrible. The human sector will be our next target. Their rejection from the Council was merely the first step. Soon they will learn what happens to species that dare to petition for membership without proving their worth. Yes, my Emperor, Admiral Vex Thul replied. I estimate we will need no more than 500 ships to secure their surrender. They will likely give up without firing a shot once they see our full battle fleet. Back on Earth, emergency meetings were taking place in government bunkers around the planet. World leaders received reports about hegemony movements toward human space. The Kalari system has fallen, announced General Harrison during a video conference with leaders from every nation. The hegemony destroyed 2 planets that refused immediate surrender. They are moving systematically toward our sector. President Chen of the Earth United Council looked at the assembled faces on her screen. How much time do we have? Quote, Intelligence estimates suggest 6 months before their advance fleet reaches the outer edge of our system, replied General Harrison. Their main battle group will arrive 2 months after that. Then it is time, said a quiet voice from the back of the room. Doctor. Li So-young stepped forward, her laboratory coat replaced by a military uniform with insignia that few people on Earth had ever seen. The Quantum Displacement Project is ready for deployment, she announced. We have successfully tested the technology on unmanned probes and small vessels. Captain Kim Jae-ho has confirmed that the full-scale drives are operational. The world leaders looked confused. Most of them had never heard of the Quantum Displacement Project. It had been developed in complete secrecy, known only to the highest levels of Earth's defense establishment. What exactly are you telling us, Dr. Li? Asked President Chen. I am telling you that Earth's fleet is not what it appears to be, Dr. Li replied. For 20 years, we have been developing technology that will allow our ships to teleport instantly across any distance. The hegemony believes we are defenseless. They are about to learn they are wrong. She activated a holographic display that showed the true capabilities of Earth's fleet. Ships that appeared to be conventional vessels were actually equipped with quantum displacement drives. They could appear anywhere in space without warning, strike with devastating precision, and vanish before enemies could respond. The surface preparations you see are real, Dr. Li continued. We need the hegemony to believe we are preparing a conventional defense. Meanwhile, our true fleet remains hidden in quantum phase, invisible to their sensors, and ready to deploy when needed. Captain Kim Jae-ho's voice came through the communication system from his hidden command ship. Dr. Li, we have 50 vessels equipped with functional displacement drives. Each one can appear anywhere within 1,000 light-year radius and engage targets with perfect tactical advantage. 50 ships against 500? Asked General Harrison. Those are terrible odds. Not when the 50 ships can be anywhere they need to be, anytime they need to be there. Li replied. The hegemony's tactics depend on overwhelming firepower and conventional battle formations. They have never faced an enemy that could ignore distance and positioning. President Chen looked at the assembled military leaders and scientists. You are certain this technology will work in actual combat conditions. We have run every simulation possible, Captain Kim confirmed. The quantum mathematics are sound. Human consciousness appears to have a natural resonance with quantum fields that other species lack. We can control these drives with precision that should be impossible according to known physics. Dr. Lee nodded. The hegemony laughed at our primitive technology. They never suspected that while they were building bigger guns, we were learning to rewrite the laws of space and time. Begin final preparations, ordered President Chen. If the hegemony wants a war with Earth, they will get one. But it will not be the war they expect. 3, 2. In space above Earth, the first hegemony scout ships began their approach toward the solar system. Their sensors detected the usual human ship movements and conventional military preparations. Everything appeared normal for a primitive species preparing a hopeless defense. The scouts transmitted their reports back to Admiral Vex Thol, confirming that Earth showed no signs of advanced technology or unusual capabilities. The humans were building more ships and weapons, but everything remained within expected parameters for their technological level. Excellent, Admiral Vex Thol said as he received the intelligence reports. Begin the final approach. This conquest will be completed quickly. Deep beneath Earth's surface, Dr. Lee So-young initiated the quantum field synchronization sequence. Across the planet, hidden facilities powered up displacement drives that hummed with barely contained energy. The hegemony was about to learn that sometimes the greatest strength comes from being underestimated. The hegemony battle fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system like a wall of death. 500 massive warships spread across space in perfect formation. Their weapons charged, and shields glowing with deadly energy. Each vessel was larger than Earth's biggest cities and carried enough firepower to destroy planets. Admiral Vex Thol stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Dominion. Through the massive viewing screen, he could see the small blue planet that had dared to petition the Galactic Council for membership. Soon it would be another conquered world in the hegemony's expanding empire. Sir, we are detecting human vessels approaching, reported his tactical officer. 50 ships moving in standard attack formation. Vex Thal's reptilian face showed amusement. 50 ships? Against our entire battle fleet? These humans are either incredibly brave or incredibly stupid. The human ships appeared on the tactical display as small dots approaching the massive hegemony formation. They moved with conventional fusion drives, their energy signatures matching the primitive technology the aliens expected from Earth. Open communications, Vex Thul ordered. Let us give these primitives one chance to surrender before we destroy them. Open. The main screen flickered and showed the bridge of a human warship. A man in a dark blue uniform sat in the captain's chair, his expression calm and determined. The nameplate on his uniform read, Commander Han Yu-jin. I am Admiral Vex Thul of the Hegemony Empire, the alien announced. You are outnumbered 10-1 by vessels far superior to your primitive technology. Surrender now, and your species will be allowed to serve as laborers in our empire. Refuse, and your planet will be destroyed. Commander Han Yu-jin smiled. Admiral, I am Commander Han Yu-jin of the Earth Defense Fleet. We respectfully decline your generous offer. Vex Thul's laugh echoed through his bridge. You would choose death over wisdom? Very well. All ships, prepare to engage. Show these humans the price of defying the hegemony. The hegemony fleet began moving forward, weapons powering up with brilliant flashes of energy. Their formation was perfect, designed to overwhelm any enemy through superior numbers and firepower. Human vessels are beginning their attack approach, reported the tactical officer. They appear to be using conventional battle tactics. The 50 human ships accelerated toward the alien fleet, their weapons charging for what appeared to be a hopeless battle. Energy readings showed standard plasma cannons and kinetic projectiles, exactly what hegemony intelligence had predicted. Then something impossible happened. One moment the human ships were approaching in normal space. The next moment, they simply vanished. Where did they go? Vex Thul demanded, his voice rising with confusion. Sir, I am reading massive quantum disturbances across our entire formation, the sensor operator reported. The readings are unlike anything in our databases. Before anyone could respond, the human ships reappeared. But they were no longer in front of the hegemony fleet. They had materialized directly behind the alien battle line, inside their formation, some appearing so close to hegemony vessels that their hulls almost touched. Impossible, Vex Thul shouted. No ship can move that fast. Commander Sung Mi Ray piloted her ship, the Soul's Vengeance, as it emerged from quantum displacement directly behind a hegemony cruiser. Her weapons officer had a perfect target at point-blank range. Fire all weapons, she ordered calmly. The concentrated firepower struck the alien ship's rear shields, which had been designed to deflect attacks from the front. The cruiser exploded in a brilliant flash of light. Across the battlefield, similar scenes played out as human ships appeared where they should not be able to appear. The hegemony's perfect formation became a disaster zone as enemies attacked from inside their own lines. Sir, we have lost 12 ships in the first 30 seconds, reported the tactical officer, his voice filled with panic. Vex Thul watched in horror as another human vessel simply materialized inside the hangar bay of a hegemony battleship. The internal explosion tore the massive vessel apart from within. How are they doing this? He demanded. Before anyone could answer, the human ships vanished again. This time, they reappeared, spread throughout the hegemony formation, each one positioned for maximum tactical advantage. Lieutenant Colonel Choi Dong-wook commanded the ship Incheon's Pride as it phased back into normal space directly above a hegemony dreadnought. The alien ship's shields were designed to protect against attacks from the sides and front, but they had no coverage above the vessel. Target their main reactor, he ordered. Full power. The devastating attack struck the dreadnought's most vulnerable point. The massive ship broke apart in a chain reaction that destroyed two smaller vessels caught in the explosion. Spread out, Admiral Vex Thul ordered desperately. Break formation. Do not let them get behind us again. But the hegemony ships had barely begun to move when the human vessels vanished once more. This time they appeared in a perfect sphere around the scattered alien fleet, attacking from every possible direction at once. The hegemony's advanced shields and weapons, designed to fight conventional space battles, became useless against enemies that could attack from anywhere without warning. Their targeting systems could not track ships that disappeared and reappeared at will. Sir, we have lost 68 ships, the tactical officer reported. The humans have lost only 3 vessels. 3 ships? Vex Thul stared at the tactical display in disbelief. How have we only destroyed 3 ships? They keep disappearing before our weapons can lock onto them, came the reply. Every time we target a human vessel, it vanishes and appears somewhere else. Commander Han Yu-jin's ship materialized directly in front of the Eternal Dominion, so close that the 2 bridges were almost touching. Through the viewing screen, Vex Thul could see the human commander's calm expression. Admiral, Han Yu-jin said through the communication system, you have seen what our technology can accomplish. Order your remaining ships to withdraw, and no more lives need to be lost. Never, Vex Thul screamed. All ships, ramming speed, destroy them. But as the hegemony vessels accelerated toward their targets, the human ships simply vanished again. The alien vessels collided with empty space, some crashing into each other in their desperate attempts to hit an enemy they could not catch. Sir, the humans are requesting communication, reported the communications officer. Put them through, Vex Thul said, his voice defeated. Commander Han Yu-jin appeared on the screen once more. Behind him, the tactical display showed that the hegemony fleet had lost over 200 ships, while the humans had lost only 12 vessels. Admiral, this battle is over, Han Yu-jin said quietly. Your ships cannot fight an enemy they cannot predict or catch. Withdraw now, and live to report what you have seen." Vex Thul looked around his bridge at the frightened faces of his officers. The most powerful fleet in hegemony space had been defeated by 50 primitive human ships using technology that should not exist. "All ships," he said quietly, "prepare for emergency hyperspace jump. We are withdrawing." As the remaining hegemony vessels fled toward the edge of the solar system, Commander Han Yu-jin sat back in his command chair. Around him, his officers worked to compile battle reports that would shock the galaxy. "Sir, should we pursue?" asked his tactical officer. "No," Han Yu-jin replied. "Let them go. They have a story to tell. And the galaxy needs to hear it." The impossible had happened. Earth's primitive fleet had defeated the most advanced military force in known space, and they had done it using technology that no other species had ever imagined. The age of human underestimation was over. The emergency session of the Galactic Council convened within hours of receiving the first reports from the Sol system. Representatives from 12 species gathered in the Great Chamber, their usual calm replaced by confusion and fear. The impossible had happened, and no one understood how. Admiral Vex Thul stood before the council, his proud bearing replaced by the slumped posture of defeat. His scaled face showed the shock of a predator who had suddenly become prey. Behind him, holographic displays showed the wreckage of his once mighty fleet. "Explain this disaster," commanded Emperor Drakon, his ancient voice echoing through the chamber. "How did 50 primitive ships destroy half of our finest battle fleet? The humans possess technology we have never encountered," Vex Thul replied, his voice barely above a whisper. "Their ships can vanish from one location and instantly appear in another. They attacked from inside our formation, from above, from below." The Zephyrian delegate's crystal body chimed with disbelief. "Impossible. Our sensors show no hyperspace signatures, no dimensional tunneling, no quantum folding. How can ships move without using known methods of faster-than-light travel?" Before Vex Thul could respond, the chamber's main doors opened. Captain Park Seo-jun walked through them, wearing the same simple uniform as before. But this time, no one laughed. Behind him walked Dr. Lee So-young, her scientist's coat replaced by a military uniform bearing insignia that made several alien species step backward in recognition. "Honored council members," Park Seo-jun said calmly, "Earth requests permission to address this assembly." "How did you get here so quickly?" demanded the Brutani general. "Our reports show the battle ended only 6 hours ago. Even our fastest ships would need days to travel from your system to this station." Dr. Lee So-young smiled. "We used the same technology that defeated Admiral Vex Thul's fleet. Our ship traveled here through quantum displacement." She activated a portable holographic projector that filled the center of the chamber with complex mathematical equations. The formulas showed calculations that made the alien scientists lean forward with fascination and growing fear. For 20 years, Earth has been developing quantum displacement technology. "Dr. Lee explained, "While other species focused on building larger engines and more powerful weapons, we chose a different path. We learned to fold space-time itself." The equations shifted to show a visual representation of how the technology worked. Space bent and twisted in the holographic display, showing how a ship could step from one location to another without crossing the distance between them. "The principle is based on quantum consciousness theory," Dr. Lee continued. "Human minds have a natural resonance with quantum fields that other species appear to lack. This allows us to control displacement drives with precision that should be impossible according to conventional physics." Emperor Drakon leaned forward on his ancient throne. "You are claiming that human consciousness can manipulate the fundamental structure of reality?" "Not manipulate," Dr. Lee corrected. "Navigate. We do not change the laws of physics. We use them in ways that others have not discovered." A new voice spoke from the chamber entrance. "We also have detailed knowledge of every species represented in this council. Major General Kim Hyun-woo entered the chamber carrying data tablets that made several delegates shift uncomfortably in their seats. His intelligence officer's uniform bore decorations that indicated decades of successful operations. For the past 40 years, Earth has been conducting quantum reconnaissance missions throughout this galaxy, he announced. We have observed your military capabilities, your political structures, your technological development, and your expansion patterns. The holographic display changed to show detailed schematics of hegemony warships, complete with technical specifications that should have been classified at the highest levels. Similar displays followed for every species in the Council, showing that humans possessed military intelligence that should have been impossible to obtain. You have been spying on us, accused the Zephyrian delegate, her crystal form flashing with anger. We have been learning, Park Seo-jun replied calmly. Earth chose to observe and understand, rather than reveal ourselves prematurely. We wanted to know what kind of galaxy we were joining. And what did you learn? Asked Emperor Draken. Major General Kim activated another display that showed the expansion patterns of every major galactic power over the past century. The data revealed aggressive territorial growth, conquered species, and destroyed civilizations. We learned that this galaxy operates on principles of conquest and domination, he said quietly. We learned that species are judged by their military power rather than their potential contributions. We learned that the strong prey upon the weak without mercy or restraint. The chamber fell silent as the implications became clear. Earth had been watching the galaxy's civilizations for decades, evaluating them, while remaining hidden and undetected. We could have revealed our technology at any time, Dr. Lee added. We could have conquered every species in this room before you knew we existed. Our quantum reconnaissance missions could have become invasion fleets. Our displacement drives could have delivered weapons of mass destruction directly into your capital cities. Why did you not attack first? Asked the Brutani general, his massive form trembling with the realization of how vulnerable they had been. Because Earth chooses cooperation over conquest, Park Seo-jun replied. We believe that true strength comes from working together, not from dominating others. Emperor Dracon stood slowly, his ancient frame casting shadows across the chamber. You possess the most powerful military technology in galactic history, and you choose not to use it for conquest? We choose not to use it for aggression, Dr. Lee corrected. But we will use it to defend ourselves, and others, who cannot defend themselves. The hegemony emperor's voice grew dangerous. Then, you will share this technology with the Council, or we will unite every species in the galaxy against you. The threat hung in the air for a long moment. Then Admiral Chen Da-hei walked through the chamber doors, her uniform bearing the insignia of Earth's Supreme Fleet Commander. Behind her, through the massive windows of the Council chamber, 300 human ships materialized out of quantum displacement. Your Majesty, Admiral Chen said respectfully to Emperor Drakon. Threatening. Earth is not advisable. The alien delegates rushed to the windows to stare at the impossible sight. 300 warships had appeared instantly around the Council station, each one capable of teleporting anywhere in the galaxy without warning. Every ship in this fleet can appear anywhere, any time, without detection. Admiral Chen continued. They can deliver humanitarian aid to suffering populations, or they can deliver justice to those who oppress the innocent. The choice of which mission they perform depends on the choices made by others. Dr. Lee stepped forward, her voice carrying across the stunned chamber. We propose cooperation instead of conquest, knowledge sharing instead of technological hoarding, and protection for the weak instead of exploitation. For species that embrace peace and cooperation, we offer our friendship and the benefits of our technology, Park Seo-jun added. For species that choose aggression and domination, we offer an alternative they will not enjoy. Emperor Drakon looked around the chamber at his fellow council members, seeing fear and uncertainty in their expressions. The balance of galactic power had shifted in a single day, and the species that had once mocked Earth now held their fate in human hands. "What are your terms?" he asked quietly. Dr. Lee smiled. "Our terms are simple. No more conquest of peaceful species. No more destruction of those who cannot defend themselves. No more laughing at others because they appear weak. And in return? In return, Earth will share our knowledge with species that prove they can use it responsibly. We will defend those who need protection. And we will explore the galaxy together as equals, not as conquerors and victims." The chamber remained silent as the most powerful civilizations in the galaxy considered a future they had never imagined. A future where the weakest species had become the strongest, and chosen to use that strength for protection rather than domination. The age of galactic conquest was ending. The age of galactic cooperation was about to begin. 6 months after the revelation at the Galactic Council, Ambassador Park Min-jun stood in the same great chamber where Earth had once been rejected and mocked. But everything had changed. Where once 12 species had laughed at human primitiveness, now representatives from over 50 civilizations gathered to discuss the new galactic order. The hegemony empire's golden thrones had been replaced by simple seats arranged in a circle, symbolizing equality rather than dominance. Emperor Drakon still attended the meetings, but his ancient voice no longer commanded absolute obedience. The galaxy had learned that true power lay not in the ability to destroy, but in the choice to protect. "The third humanitarian mission to the Outer Rim has been completed successfully," reported Captain Kim Jae-ho, his voice carried throughout the chamber by advanced communication systems. "The plague that threatened to destroy the Kalani civilization has been stopped using Earth medical technology combined with Zephyrian healing crystals." Admiral Chen Da-hai activated a holographic display showing the rescue operation. Human ships had used quantum displacement to deliver medical supplies and personnel to 12 different star systems simultaneously, working alongside alien species that had once viewed humanity as primitive insects. The joint exploration mission to the Andromeda Spiral has also returned with remarkable discoveries, announced Dr. Lee So-young. The combination of human quantum technology and Brutani deep space sensors has revealed 17 new civilizations that were previously unknown to galactic society. Director Kim Min-sok, who had emerged as Earth's primary diplomatic coordinator, stood to address the assembly. "These missions represent what we can accomplish when species work together instead of competing for dominance. Each civilization contributes their unique strengths to benefit all." The transformation had not been easy. 3 species had initially refused Earth's offer of cooperation and attempted to form their own alliance against the humans. They had learned quickly that conventional military force was useless against ships that could appear anywhere without warning. But Earth had chosen mercy over destruction. Instead of annihilating the rebel fleets, human ships had simply teleported their weapons and engines away, leaving the alien vessels helpless but intact. The message had been clear. Resistance was futile, but surrender brought protection rather than conquest. The former hegemony territories have been successfully transitioned to self-governance, reported Major General Kim Hyun-woo. 17 species that had been enslaved or dominated for centuries are now free to develop their own civilizations. Emperor Drakon stood slowly, his ancient form showing the weight of his changing empire. "The hegemony formally renounces all territorial claims beyond our original homeworlds. We request Earth's assistance in teaching our people how to live as equals rather than masters." This statement would have been unthinkable 6 months earlier. The most powerful empire in galactic history was voluntarily giving up its conquests and asking for guidance from the species it had once considered primitive. Park Min-jun nodded respectfully. "Earth accepts the hegemony's request for assistance. Dr. Lee So-young will be sharing quantum consciousness training with your scientists, while our diplomatic corps will help establish democratic institutions in your former territories." The Zephyrian delegate, whose crystal form now glowed with warm light, instead of cold hostility, stood to speak. The Zephyrian Crystalline Union wishes to announce our decision to join the Earth Alliance formally. We offer our healing technologies and artistic traditions to the growing galactic community. Similar announcements followed from species after species. The Brutani offered their engineering expertise. The Aquatic Depths Coalition shared their biotechnology. Even smaller civilizations that had never dared to speak in the Old Council now contributed their unique knowledge to the collective effort. The Galactic Defense Network is now operational, announced Admiral Chen Dahe. Human displacement ships are stationed in protective formations around every peaceful civilization. Any species that attempts aggression against innocent populations will face immediate intervention. The Defense Network represented a revolutionary concept in galactic politics. Instead of each species defending only itself, the entire galaxy was now protected by the combined efforts of all member civilizations. Human ships provided mobility and striking power, while alien species contributed sensors, weapons, and intelligence. Dr. Lee So-young activated a new holographic display that showed the most remarkable achievement of the new alliance. The joint research project has successfully opened stable portals to other dimensions. We are no longer limited to exploring just our own galaxy. The implications were staggering. Quantum displacement technology had been only the beginning. Working together, the combined species had unlocked the secrets of interdimensional travel. New universes lay open for peaceful exploration and contact with civilizations beyond imagination. 3 peaceful contact missions have already been launched to parallel dimensions, Dr. Lee continued. Each mission includes representatives from multiple species, ensuring that first contact follows principles of cooperation and respect. Captain Kim Jae-ho had volunteered to lead the first interdimensional exploration mission. His ship, crewed by humans, Zephyrians, reformed hegemony officers, and Brutani engineers, had successfully made contact with a civilization of energy beings who existed in a dimension where thought and reality were the same thing. The discoveries we are making will benefit every species in our alliance, Park Min-jun announced. But more importantly, we are proving that former enemies can become trusted friends when they choose cooperation over conquest. The transformation extended beyond politics and military affairs. On Earth, children now attended schools built with alien architectural techniques, learning mathematics from Zephyrian quantum theorists, and studying art created by species from across the galaxy. Human children played with young aliens whose parents had once planned to conquer Earth. The cultural exchange programs have exceeded all expectations, reported Dr. Park Soo-jin, Earth's ambassador for educational affairs. Human creativity, combined with alien knowledge, is producing innovations in art, music, and literature that none of our species could have achieved alone. Emperor Drakon requested permission to speak, his ancient voice carrying a tone that had never been heard from him before. The hegemony wishes to make a formal apology to every species in this chamber. For centuries, we believed that strength meant the ability to dominate others. Humanity has taught us that true strength means the choice to protect others. The chamber remained silent, as the most feared ruler in galactic history acknowledged his mistakes and asked for forgiveness. When he finished speaking, the representatives from every species in the room stood in respect for his courage to change. "Your apology is accepted, Emperor Drakon," Park Min-jun replied. "The past cannot be changed, but the future can be shaped by the choices we make today." As the session concluded, Park Min-jun looked around the chamber at the faces of beings from across the galaxy. Species that had once viewed each other as enemies or primitives now worked together as equals. The laughter that had once mocked Earth's primitive technology had been replaced by cooperation and mutual respect. Through the great windows of the chamber, Earth's children could see ships from dozens of species working together on construction projects, research missions, and exploration ventures. The galaxy that had once been ruled by fear and conquest had become a community dedicated to growth and discovery. The transformation was not complete. There were still species on the far edges of the galaxy who clung to the old ways of domination and aggression. But they were learning, as the hegemony had learned, that the new galactic order would protect the innocent and defend the peaceful. Park Min-jun smiled as he watched young humans and aliens working together in the station's research laboratories. The species that had once been laughed at for their primitive technology had become the teachers and protectors of an entire galaxy. Earth had proven that sometimes the greatest strength comes from being underestimated, and the greatest victory comes from choosing mercy over vengeance. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly what humanity had hoped for all along. The age of galactic cooperation had truly begun, and it would last for generations to come.